Welcome back to Hope at Dawn, and it's time for the newspaper review. What's being reported in the dailies this morning? The Nation, they go with the headline, Nyakango, governors in row over spending. Now, the Council of Governors yesterday came to the defense of some 10 county chiefs. Controller of Budget, Margaret Nyakango, found had not spent a single shilling on development. But the reasons given by the governors actually are raising more questions, according to the Nation. I told you we are expecting a comeback from those governors. So the county chiefs did not allocate funds for development between July and September. Who's fooling whom? That's the question the Nation is asking. The Council of Governors, they came to the defense yesterday of the 10 governors. So they're saying that while the governor's umbrella body did not deny the fact that the 10 county bosses only prioritized spending billions of shillings they received on salaries and settling other recurrent expenditure, it shifted blame to other factors. In a statement yesterday, the council raised 4 issues that caused the counties not to spend money on development activities. County governments in good financial practice and the Controller of Budget advisory pay off pending bills before funds are released to counties for development expenditure. So those are some of the reasons they are giving. And so you can read extensively that story, which is on page 4 inside the Daily Nation. I also see head of Ruto's media team lands top CA job. This is a Presidential Communication Service boss, David Mugonyi, has been appointed the new Communications Authority of Kenya Director General. Remember, he takes over from Ezra Chiloba, who resigned in October. Read that story on page 8 inside the Daily Nation. I also see Pope didn't approve same-sex unions, say bishops. Kenyan Catholic bishops yesterday maintained their stance, denouncing same-sex marriages, while also clarifying that this week's declaration by Pope Francis did not in any way approve of such unions. And it's a story you can read on page 3 inside the Daily Nation. I also see breakthrough. Northern white rhino embryos now ready for implantation. That is in some science, and the same is happening at the Olpejeta Conservancy, collectively known as the Biorescue Team. Read that story also on page 3. We have a book, Serialization. Mbotela, Tom Mboya assassination and Kisumu bloodbath. This is on pages 6 and 7. In this first installment of a 4-part exclusive serialization of Leonard Mambo Mbotela's autobiography, Je Hu Ni Ungwana, the veteran broadcaster writes how in July 1969 he was among the first people to arrive at the scene moments after Cabinet Minister Tom Mboya had been shot. Barely 3 months later, he was covering chaotic scenes as the battle for supremacy between President Jomo Kenyatta and his erstwhile ally Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, heightened by the assassination of Tom Mboya, turned deadly in Kisumu. And you can read events that unfolded on pages 6 and 7 inside the Daily Nation. Then I see Shege, Raila could have won if he picked me. That is a nominated MP says, had she been selected as running mate for the Azimio candidate in 2022, victory was assured. Okay, all right. An interesting story there. Read that inside the Daily Nation. I also see Koome recalls police officers on leave to beef up security. So that means that Inspector General of Police directing the officers to resume their duties with immediate effect. We are in the festive season, and from our experience, we anticipate high vehicle traffic on our roads. That is the IG Japhet Koome. Read more on page 10 inside the Daily Nation. Today's, this is where, is it the pullout? The county news as well. Also, the DN2, it's all about property, ending mess of stalled projects, bribery, kickbacks, political interference, procurement mess, and shortcuts blamed for the scourge of stalling and incomplete public projects. Experts advise the government and other clients what to do. And I think if you work, if anyone is listening to us and watching us this morning and you work for a county government, kindly if you cannot get them the entire paper, get them the DN2 pull out.
Yeah.
Because the white elephants we have across this nation, stalled projects, millions were used, but not finished because a governor maybe did not get re-elected. So the incoming governor says, you know what, that was not my project. I'm starting my own project. Please, we can save billions and billions. And these projects, actually, it's not your project. They are going to help Wananchi.
Exactly.
Yeah, so just finish what the other project, the other
person had left.
person had started. Yes, they erected the cupboard, that this whatever was inaugurated by Governor GG. So if GG did not get re-elected and you got elected, Beatrice, if I had done the foundation and the first floor, come erect your board and say this was finished by. So if it's a must for your name to appear, just come and say it was finished by. But you don't just come and throw it away just because your political nemesis lost or won.
It makes us question what was really what's even the purpose. Aren't leaders supposed to make the Wananchi feel comfortable? So it seems to me like sometimes it's just selfish gain. And that position is just for the person, for the politician, kupata jina, pate pesa nini. Because if truly we are for the Wananchi and we are giving all these agendas.
This is a hospital that was started to help the Wananchi. Come finish. Back page, anyway, moving strongly forward. Back page, they're saying SACCO's savings cross 100 trillion shillings mark in struggling economy. Member deposits in savings and credit cooperative societies, SACCOs, have crossed the 1 trillion mark for the first time, defying the economic hardships that had seen some savers cash out their money to meet daily needs. So data from the State Department of Cooperatives shows savings grew by 15.6% to 1 trillion and 47 in the year to June 2023 from 906 billion, which is marking a major milestone for the country's cooperatives movement that you can read back page of The Nation. Can invest 1 trillion investment by 2027 in ambitious new plan, also on the back page of The Nation. Can the rest of the field catch up with Toyota as Safari Rally returns to Easter holiday period? Although on a part-time engagement with Toyota, 2021 champion Ogier proved that like old wine, he's improving his game with time. Read that on page 34 and 35. And then I see this is home teams seek extra edge in championship. That is on page number 31 as Tusker Muhoroni Youth win in as far as the KPL is concerned. Muranga Seal 1, Leopards 1. Muhoroni Youth beating Sofapaka by a goal to nil. Tusker and Kenya Police, they registered a barren draw. Today, KCB will be taking on Zoya Sugar. Ulinzi Stars locking horns with Rangers, that is Posta Rangers. Talanta versus Kariobangi Sharks. Bidco United versus Shabana. And then we have the Green Army. Gor Mahia will be at Kenyatta Stadium to take on Bandari. And then Kakamega Homeboys entertaining Nairobi City Stars. That will be played at Buhungu Stadium. That's in as far as the sports pages inside the Daily Nation.
All right, let us look at the Standard. And I see the big story here is what clash of rivals in the 17 billion shillings diesel revealed. An Njeri woman at the center of fuel import controversy had placed to prove that consignment belongs to her company as parties including Energy CS, Davis Chichir, and Galana Oil and KPA bosses clash during a parliamentary team meeting in Nairobi. This is a story that you can find on page 10. We also see when diplomacy becomes alien for Ruto's ministers, few governments have had to make as many clarifications over their relationships with other nations as President Ruto's in its first year in office. In the last few days, the government has been fighting fire, some sparked from within. We take stock. This is on page 6. And I also see quite an interesting story here about Uhuru. Uhuru's return to politics, a boon for his friends but rattles critics. MP says Uhuru will scatter many politicians, especially those allied to government, and others say former former president, hell-bent on wreaking havoc in Ruto's administration. Quite an interesting story there on page 4. You can look at it. And I also see something else here about, it's something that we did. There's a time we had a conversation on inheritance and succession. And I see court orders Koinange King to share wealth to end 42-year row. 42 years.
42 years.
Former cabinet minister whose wealth was estimated at 30 billion. 30 billion died without a will.
Yeah.
Look at that. CJ, who had the case as a high court judge, described the long-drawn court battles as theater of the absurd.
Wow.
And 284 million is the amount that is the EcoBank released, which lawyers decided to share among some of the beneficiaries, and the remainder was used to offset legal fees and debts. I think this just reminds us of the importance of writing a will. I mean, this is a lot of money. Come on. This is really a lot. And you know he is as well. So now that brings the row on a whole different level. But this is crazy. 42 years is a long time to have a row over inheritance.
You just share.
I know.
And it's a lot.
Mama
These are
apate
siblings.
mingi. Okay, and just more emphasis on the story that you mentioned about the 5 counties didn't spend any money on projects, says report. Control of budget shows expenditure in the first quarter of 2023-2024. Governors blame procurement for slow uptake of development funds. It's a story that was also written extensively in the Daily Nation. You can also turn to page 11 of the Standard to get more of that news. And magistrate demands MP apologizes, pay damages. So lawyers say Salasia threatened the court official. Salasia is also being sued by another lawyer over insults, a story that you can also find on page 12. And I also see something to do with the Carabao. Okay, that's in the sports page. So maybe I can just look at that. I see pressure eases on Pochettino. Is that how you say that? Pochettino.
Yeah.
Okay. Pressure eases on
Pochettino.
Pochettino.
Yeah.
Okay, not Pochettino.
Let's call him Poch.
Poch. Pressure eases on Poch. As Gigi has said, as Chelsea reach Carabao Cup semis. I see nightmare for Newcastle Trippier as Blues win on penalties in cup quarters. It has been a poor start for Poch in the league, but he is on course to win a trophy. A story that you can find on the back page of the Standard. I also see on the La Liga, Sevilla beat Granada as Atletico held. All right. Good story right there. You can also look at it. I also see Kenyan teams post mixed results at continental event. Kenya's men team are fall to the Egyptian team B as Africa's Zone 5 Olympic Games qualifiers start in Mombasa. And the top 3 teams in each gender to qualify for the Africa Continental Cup next year. And I also see something interesting here. I think we've never really covered this. Kenyan martial arts stars leave no rival standing. Martial arts. Kenya bags 191 medals.
Wow.
To retain Mombasa Open Tong 2 more do title. Kenya has set its eyes to the next year's World Championships in Philippines, and we have 11 years. That is the number of years Kenya has won the Mombasa Open Tong 2 more do title. This is really amazing. This is beautiful. I think we don't talk about the martial arts and how Kenyans are actually good in that. I'm curious to know which ni kabila gani ambayo unajua tumezoea Wakalenjin kwa kukimbia pale. I wonder martial arts.
I think inakata cross.
Inakata cross everywhere.
Hiyo ni bidii yako.
Nguvu ambayo uko nayo.
And inaitwaje vile kilimwa, how strong you are.
Ukishikwa shikamana.
All right.
That's
Business
it for
Daily.
the Standard.
I have the Business Daily, and they're reporting Treasury lends KQ 16 billion shillings without a repayment plan.
Ooh.
That's nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So funds released in two tranches, 6.27 billion shillings and 10 billion shillings. So auditor faults KQ bosses for failure to act in good faith. So the Treasury funded Kenya Airways to the tune of 16.27 billion without a loan agreement or recovery mechanism last year.
Oh,
The
okay.
Auditor General has revealed now in a special audit on the Treasury's use of public funds under Article 223 of the Constitution, allowing the withdrawal of funds to use for emergency purposes that had not been factored during budget formulation. Auditor General Nancy Gathongo faulted the Treasury for releasing the funds without any agreement and without a clear plan on how it will get back the money. So read that story. Then this one, 473 kilometers Nairobi Mombasa Expressway gets approval. Yeah.
Wow.
You know, we have this one from Westlands to
Yeah.
Mlolongo, but now we will have a 473 kilometers expressway from Nairobi to Mombasa. They have received
Wow.
approval.
Okay.
So it has received the first stage approval for construction, and this one will be under a public-private partnership model. The Treasury has revealed, paving the way for the project to progress to the development phase. The Treasury said the project, which seeks to clear heavy congestion and slow speeds between the two cities, is expected to cost about $500 billion shillings.
Wow.
So that is 555.09 billion shillings. Yeah, so mobilization, they say, of private sector resources to develop and expand key trunk networks in the country, such as the Mombasa Expressway, is at advanced stages. So read that.
Wow.
You remember the story of Carrefour being slapped with a 1 billion
0.1
fine.
billion, yeah.
So they are set to fight the fine that was slapped on them by the Competition Authority of Kenya at the Competition Tribunal. So still on the corridors of justice as they seek, a way forward. Increase in cost of loans, highest among corporates. So the cost of loans to big companies in Kenya rose fastest compared to small enterprises, households, and individuals in the 1 year to September due to unfavorable business environment that has been seen to hurt the risk profile of businesses. And what we also mentioned, SACCO savings crossed the 1 trillion shillings mark.
Wow.
Yep, that's the Business Daily. And of course, you can grab your favorite daily and get to read what is being reported. And we continue to say it's also to enhance your knowledge about the plus 254, but also as a believer, you get to know how to pray for the nation. Also, you will be updated across the day on Hope FM every top of the hour on Newswatch, and then Dira and Newswatch at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. respectively on Hope TV. We got
Beautiful. You. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So right about now, we are going to be ushering in the video of the day today. Quite an interesting video. Oh, this video, it's beautiful because for me, when I first heard it, I just told myself, this is not a gospel that is normally preached because the song is called Hills and Valleys. Just to remind us that we serve a God of hills and valleys. Sometimes you're up there, he's still God. And even when you're low in the valleys, he's still God.
Doesn't change.
He doesn't change. He's still the same God of hills and valleys. And sometimes you're on top, sometimes you're low. But all these seasons are to be embraced because they always produce something. God is always up to something. That's one of the statements I've come to love. Whenever you're going through a difficult time, instead of complaining, just say, I think God is up to something. This bad thing that is happening, God is definitely up to something. So let's check this out. This beautiful song by Torren Wells, Hills and Valleys.